It's time for the insane, the honest, and the profane with your host, Brandon Combs.
Jed Hoyer has been a coward as a GM. Doesn't go out and he doesn't make the big splash signings. He doesn't spend the money in the right places. But then I don't let Craig Counsell off the hook because, yes, did he get put in a bad spot with this rotation by Jed Hoyer? Absolutely. But then you didn't put those guys that you did have in a position to succeed in the playoffs.
And Ryan Fitzgibbons.
I mean, if he's just as good as Justin Fields, it's probably the worst draft pick in the history of Bears football. It probably is. And one of the worst draft picks in the history of the NFL.
It's Combs and Fitz, Windy City Sports Talk, right here on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
And welcome to the best damn sports podcast on the planet. It's your boy, Brandon Combs, along with my guy, Ryan Fitzgibbons Fitzy. I listened to that intro just now, and I was like, damn, that was a year ago. Why does my part still sound like I said it last week?
And my part, awkward. But we did have an intro running for like a year where you picked the Sox to win the division.
That's true. We should get the production team on a fresh intro. We should definitely do that. Make sure that everything gets taken care of. So production staff, you need to get on it.
Yeah. What the hell?
So we'll definitely do that
too. I think it moved. I think it moved a little bit during the intro.
That's okay. That's okay. You got a little furry friend over there. Looks like you got your tail wagging.
Yep.
Is that your tail or the dog's tail? I can't.
Go way down. She's such a sweet dog too. Like it's so hard to yell at her.
Look, we got a lot to get into. We'll get into the Cubs. We'll get into the White Sox. We'll get into the NBA Finals. Stanley Cup Finals, too, has been absolutely amazing. The Stanley Cup Final has been back and forth, big leads blown, overtimes. It's been insane to watch. So if you're a hockey fan, Stanley Cup Final has been everything that you want it to be. But look, there was a little bit of big news this week here in Chicago. And that big news is that Caleb Williams is on the cover of Madden 27.
Yes.
Caleb Williams.
Let's go.
On the cover. Look, I've got a lot of people talking to me about, Caleb's on the cover. It's the Madden curse, blah, 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 blah. And I said, it doesn't. Yeah, the Madden curse is no longer. Mahomes won a Super Bowl the year he was on the Madden cover.
Yeah, it's over.
Lamar won an MVP the year he was on the cover. Calvin Johnson obliterated the receiving record the year he was on the cover.
And Michael Vick was on the cover, but he was still good, but he was just having dogs rape each other.
So I love the fact that Caleb is the first Bears player.
Change the subject, aren't you?
First Bears player on the cover. But then I started to think a little bit. Maybe the curse is real. Maybe the curse is alive because Chicago has lost the Bears.
Yes, that's the story, which should be the headline of the story.
Yeah.
Should be that Chicago has lost the Bears. That should be the headline. It's not because, propaganda, we're constantly just being just shot with propaganda, whether it's sports or news. Like this is all part of the propaganda. Ooh, they might go to Indiana. So you don't even think about the fact that they're leaving Chicago.
Yeah.
And should I put the statement up so we can read it? Because it is bullcrap. Yeah. They're not going to Indiana until I see shovels on there. Okay, well, we can talk about it then. Yesterday, the Chicago Bears board of directors met and voted to advance our stadium development project in Hammond, Indiana, with the exact site to be selected. We believe a world-class stadium project in Hammond will transform the region, connecting Northwest Indiana to the south side of Chicago through the loop and across neighborhoods and suburbs stretching north of the city. It will bring Chicagoland together and deliver new opportunities to its residents and businesses. Yeah, right. Whatever. Advance the stadium project. like advance our stadium development project doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. This is lawyer speak. This is definitely a lawyer who wrote this. Yeah, and lawyers write a lot of this, or public relation folks who are usually lawyers too.
Yeah.
Write a lot of these. It's very well punctuated. It's actually pretty well said. It's probably better than anything either of us would write, but and we're both
Speak for
pretty
yourself.
decent. We're both, I think, okay writers for what we do. And, but it's all bullcrap. It's all a waste of time. I don't think any of this is happening. Combs.
I know it's not official. I do think it's happening though. And I think it's because of the politics in Illinois, I think are going to drive the Bears to Indiana. And I think that that's what has really kicked us off. Look, I know that they still own the thing in Arlington Heights. And all these people, all Bears fans that are going nuts about this. And, the Bears belong. They're not staying in Chicago. Chicago's out of the question. It's either Hammond or it's Arlington Heights. And I got to tell you, Chicago fans, the drive to Hammond is a lot better than the drive to Arlington Heights. It's a shorter drive. There's no tolls, depending on where you live at in the city. But you don't have to take tolls to get down to Hammond. If you're going to take tolls to Hammond or to Arlington Heights after the stadium is built, what do you think the state of Illinois is going to do to the tolls on the way? You're going to spend $35 to $40 just to get to the game, just to get to the stadium.
Yeah.
And so, like, I do think that the Bears are looking at this as a business move. And to honest with you, I've said this from the beginning, the better economic move for this Bears organization is Hammond, Indiana. It is. And look, I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, the tax hike of 312% that Arlington Heights first started with, that the state of Illinois first started with the Bears when they bought this property to build the stadium. Maybe they'll bring it down to 212% or something to get the Bears to stay. But I don't know that the relationship between the state of Illinois and between Bears ownership and between Kevin Warren and George McCaskey didn't even go to the last meeting.
Yeah,
They didn't even show up. That relationship is fractured between the Bears and between Illinois, which is why I think that within the next, month or two, you're going to see the proposed site. You're going to see shovels in the ground, and you're going to see stuff start to happen in Hammond, Indiana. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, I just think a lot of things are going on here, and then there's fans arguing about, is this is more of the Bears' fault than the state's fault. This is more the state's fault than the Bears' fault. It doesn't matter. It's a bunch of the ruling class making decisions for you that you might disagree with. If you think this is bringing Illinois jobs out of Illinois, okay, then the government in Illinois has been doing that for 30 years. They have been forcing businesses out of Illinois for years. If you think if this was another ownership team, that they would probably easily have stayed in Chicago and there'd be a dome over Soldier Field right now, because that's what they would have done 20 years ago. You're right about that too. This is like I said when I first saw this news, this is a horse shit. I mean, who's not swearing now? Organization. It has been. It's one of the worst organizations in football. It's one of the worst organizations in sports. It still doesn't have a 44,000 yard passer. Every other team does. It still doesn't have a 30 TD passer. It still doesn't. So, I mean, and the Bears didn't win anything last year. They didn't. Yeah. They could have, if they would have gotten through rid of Aberflus the year before, but they didn't win anything. So it's still a crappy organization. And I live in Indiana. I'll probably be 5 miles from the stadium, and I don't want them here. And I'll look in the camera when I say that. I do not want the Bears in Indiana. I do not want my property taxes to skyrocket. I don't want the stadium to give us absolutely nothing that they promise, because it won't. It'll just screw over the people. And I live in a very nice neighborhood. It'll just screw over this neighborhood. It'll attract all the wrong people. And I won't see anything from it. The price of my house might go up a little bit, but I'll probably have to leave because of my property taxes will be almost as much as the people paying in Illinois. And Illinois is getting the same thing from that. I mean, that's why, because they pushed Illinois government, and I know I'm filibustering, but Illinois government has pushed this to the next year, to the next year, to the next year for so long. And they cannot higher property taxes anymore, or no one's ever going to buy real estate in Illinois again, because they know what the median income is in Illinois. And they've stressed it to the point of breaking to where they cannot hire taxes anymore to put this project into play. And then the Bears, on the other hand, are kind of inept because they did the whole Chicago thing, and then they did the Illinois thing, and now they're doing the Indiana thing. And it's the worst kind of most black and white negotiation I've ever seen. They are going to stay in Arlington Heights. Almost 100%. This is all bull crap and bluster. And why do I say it? Because right after the state adjourned, right after the state legislature adjourned, they come out with this tweet, with this weird tweet, just like they did right before the historic Packers game.
But they promised this though ahead of time. This wasn't right after. They said that this was the deadline for them to make a decision. The Bears have said for weeks they were going to make a decision by May 30th.
Okay.
That's when they. Okay. When you look at this, and I get it, and I love by the way, I love the fact that you waited to the one weekend that you don't have Aiden to try to not swear on the show. That's fantastic, by the way. I love that part of it. But I don't think that there's any way for them to stay. And I gotta tell you, I think that you're going to, what you're going to see them do for Indiana the same way Indiana is going to do for them. I think that the Bears would be willing to do more to move to Indiana because of the way Indiana has treated this process than they would be to stay in Illinois, the way that Illinois has treated them through this process. Does that make sense to you? Like Indiana has come in. They're giving us a plow of land. They're ready to go. Indiana's going to do this within 6 months of us making this a thing, where Illinois has been the last 8 years where we haven't been able to come to a decision on where to build the stadium, even though we own a plat of land. So for me, I think that when you're talking about Indiana, I think that the prices of tickets, the average price of season tickets right now for the upper level is like $1,500 to $2,000 for the season, and the average I think for the lower bowl is something like $5,000 or $6,000, right? So what I think you're going to end up seeing is those ticket prices are going to be about the same if they move to Indiana. If they were to move to Arlington Heights, I think you're looking at, because the state of Illinois, and I don't believe that a lot of this would be on the Bears. I think a lot of this would be on the state of Illinois, because we know how our politicians in the state work. I think that the cost of tickets are going to go up immensely, because the cost to the Bears is going to go up immensely. I think you'd be looking at the average price doubling for season tickets.
And people already can't afford these tickets. We can barely afford to watch these games. More on that later. That's a tease.
Yeah. So
Jeremiah says he agrees with you. I'm shocked with all the people eating up whatever the politicians are feeding them in Illinois. It is making this impossible for Bears not to move to Hammond.
Yeah, it's crazy to me. And then when you listen to Bears, like I've talked to a bunch of season ticket holders, and all of these season ticket holders have all said the same thing. We're not giving up our season tickets. Took us so long to get there. We're still going to be Bears fans. And then I got news for you Bears fans that are out there. If the Bears move to Indiana, I'm no longer a Bears fan. I'm no longer a supporter of this organization. Well, then you were never a fan or a supporter of this organization to begin with. If that's the case, then you were never a fan. You look at all of the fans of the San Francisco 49ers. You look at the fans of, the Raiders, who have moved to like 9 different locations in the last 4 years. You look at the New York Giants, New York Jets, who don't even play in New York.
Never have. In
the NFL. 10 teams in the NFL out of 32 that don't play in the city in which they represent.
which is another story that we can dig into, which is another. And the way the Bears organization, I'll agree, the way they've done this, they really didn't ingratiate themselves or lobby well enough in Illinois either. The emotional support animal is trying to calm Fitz down. Probably the way that they've lobbied this has been all wrong as well. Like I said, trying to stay in Chicago when everybody said that wasn't going to work. I don't think the Bears understood that they don't have the political or capital might to do the things that they wanted to do. And I think they should have understood that beforehand. They should have understood that this isn't 1998. This isn't 1990 when it was when Jim Thompson passed the Sox to stay, when the Sox were actually moving to Tampa Bay. They were ready to move. I don't know. You could say that was bull crap, whatever. And they say it was past midnight and they almost didn't pass it. And Jim Thompson shoved it through. It's not that anymore. When we had a surplus, we don't have a surplus. Illinois does not have a surplus anymore. It just doesn't.
I saw a funny thing on Facebook. It said the Bears survived World War II. They survived all of these other different events, but they can't survive the incompetent leadership in Illinois in 2026.
Which is over and over again. I used to work, and this is just one out of thousands of stories that have happened in Chicago and Illinois. And we'll get to Mayor Brandon Johnson that I want to talk a little bit about Donning Thomas's comment just really quickly. I want to touch on it, but I used to work in the theater district for years, right by the Chicago Theater, Cadillac Theater, all those theaters. Worked at the ABC building right there. The theater district was alive and bustling, especially at night. You would see people, I wouldn't call them celebrities, but maybe Chicago celebrities all the time. You'd see, football, baseball players. Then Mayor Daley sold the parking meters to, I think it was a German company or Swedish company, whatever, for almost nothing. They recouped the cost in like a year or two. And it was like a 20-year deal. No one could park down there anymore. And it was completely empty. It was like from one week to the other, it completely changed from a cultural, a touch point in a city to absolutely empty. And if you can't say that politics don't matter, especially locally, they mattered then. And there's 1,000 things just like that have fucked over the state. And now the city isn't taking in that parking meter money. It's going to a company instead of the city. A company is making money off of that. And there's 1,000 different deals just like that in the 5 years I was working for a news talk station, just like that. And that was like 2009-ish, 2010. We are 16 years later, man. And the same, and you know what? Bill comes due.
Yeah.
Nothing is free in this country. I mean, in this world, nothing is free. Bill comes due. This is the bill coming due for Illinois. It really is. And I feel sorry for the people that live there and for any jobs that aren't going to be gotten because maybe they won't go to Arlington, which I still think they're going to Arlington Heights. If they don't, I feel sorry for the people who aren't going to have a job or aren't going to have extra work because of it.
Oh, look, I mean, I've heard of all of the union stuff. Unions are going to lose this. Unions are going to lose. The unions will be just fine. They'll find other work. I mean, I've been watching the unions that work on freaking 294. They've got it the best because they've been working on the same stretch of highway for the last 9 years since I moved back to Chicago. They're still doing the same plot of land. And every time that I drive past, there's at least 9 miles of cones where nobody is even standing and doing any work. So the unions will be just fine. Like the thought that people are going, this is actually, and this is where the state of Illinois loses out. And I don't care what anybody says about this. This would create jobs. This creates revenue. This creates all of these things within that wherever they decide to build, whether it's Northwest Indiana or whether it's here in Arlington Heights. It doesn't matter. It creates billions of dollars in revenue every single year between jobs, between all of the you're talking about all of the vendors, you're talking about, parking lot attendants, you're talking
Those
about
guys who drum on the buckets.
yeah, you're talking about the hotels, which we could talk about the hotels if you want to, that Governor Pritzker owns, that's all around, Soldier Field, which
We
is
still when Soldier Field's the state still owes, or maybe it's the city, but I think it's the state owes $400 million for Soldier Field, for the
yeah,
field, for the renovations on Soldier Field. It was supposed to be taken. We read it on the show. It was supposed to be taken back on a on a tax for a hotel tax.
yes,
That they knew wasn't big enough. It was
yes.
never going to pay for it. They blame a year in COVID for the reason why they didn't in the last 20 years. They haven't gotten that money back. $400 million the state still owes
which
for
is
that.
why Pritzker wants so bad for this to stay in Chicago, which is why I think that he's bullied them out of Arlington Heights, which is I don't think he understands. He's got to understand. I would hope he understands. He is the governor of Illinois. Not that he should be, but he is the governor of Illinois. We've got two idiots in office that are running this whole campaign, but it's not possible
We got a
to
Brandon
stay
Johnson,
in Chicago. The only spot that was left to build in Chicago, the Ishbia has already bought.
Yeah.
The White Sox are moving to that plot of land. There's no more spots to build in Chicago. There's just not.
Yeah, and we didn't even know Ishbia. We were like, wait, what? Wait, I thought something was already bought. They found one more plot of land and it looks like he's going to build a stadium there from all his comments. But and I bet you he'll get it done. That's why you sell the team Bears organization instead of
they're going to sell
because you're an incompetent organization. You're just incompetent.
That's the next part of this. Is I think that as soon as they decide finally shovels in the ground, I think you start to see the McCaskies do the process of selling the team, because the value of this team will never be higher than what it is right now.
And we haven't
put shovels in the ground and you're getting a new stadium, and not only that, but you have a good product on the field, and people are excited about this team. The value is never going to be higher. The McCaskies are going to sell this thing for $8 to $9 billion. And it's going to be probably I think what was the Commanders, I think, broke the record for an NFL franchise a couple years ago for $6.05 billion, right? Jesus. So you're going, if the Commanders are worth 6.05, what are the Chicago Bears worth? I think 8 to 9 billion is about what they will get. I think Dallas is valued at something like 13 billion, something in that.
Yeah, the Bears will get that much at least. Doubting Thomas with just a picture I've never seen of my brother as his profile picture.
That's your brother?
Yeah.
Holy hell. I thought that was Charles Manson or some shit.
I have full faith in Mayor Brandon Johnson, who's just incompetent. If you've heard any of the interviews with Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago lately, it is the height of incompetence. I mean, just some of his comments just aren't based in reality.
Did you hear him on the score?
Yes, I did.
So, just the level of stupidity coming out of his mouth. And look, I give Layla Rahimi and Marshall Harris all the credit in the world for the way that they conducted that interview, because they went at him. They grilled Brandon Johnson. And look, a lot of the stuff he just danced around and he tiptoed around, but he sounds like a moron. Sounds like he doesn't know what he's doing, which, I'm pretty sure that even the people that have voted for him now know that he has no clue what he's doing. So it's one of those things where I think that we're in a spot where the most sense is Indiana. And that's why I believe that Hammond is the spot. I believe they're going to build something off of Wolf Lake. I think they'll build an entire entertainment district. I think you'll have hotels. I think you'll have casinos. I think you'll have all sorts of stuff right there, right in Hammond, Indiana. And they'll probably build another daycare next to a liquor store, next to a tattoo shop.
That's the one time you came to Indiana. Anyway, and Jeremiah says it's the first time the Bears have played a proper political card in this whole process. Not true. Yeah. They did this right before a Packers game. I believe it was the playoff game. They announced that they were really thinking about Indiana. Now they're advancing the project to Indiana. Next, it'll be we have where we're going to do it. We have a plot of land that we might buy. That's going to be the next one, because that's the third, boy who cried wolf.
Yeah.
Daly retired shortly after selling the parking meters. Coincidence? Yeah, I think there's going to be some government officials retiring after the Bears move.
I think that's the other thing fans need to think about too, right? Like, and you and I talked about this on the phone. The other thing that fans aren't taking into consideration is how much cheaper I think things around the stadium will be to do, right? Like, you come to downtown Chicago. Look, I work in downtown Chicago. You can't park for a full day for anything less than $35. Like, you can't be at work and park for anything less than $35. I park in the building where I work, and I still have to pay $175 a month to park. Like, I have to pay to go to work.
Almost. So that's almost a car payment.
Yes, it's insane. The cost of parking and everything that they do in Chicago. It's not going to be like that. And look, you're still going to have to pay to park. I mean, when we went to Lucas Oil in Indianapolis, I paid to park inside the parking lot of Lucas Oil Stadium for WWE Royal Rumble when I took my son to go to that. It was $25 to park.
And they've had a Super Bowl, haven't they?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why we're having this conversation. That's why you build a dome.
Yes.
And
you can have a Super
why
Bowl.
Any other organization has a dome on that stadium.
Yes.
Right now, and we're not even having this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So don't tell me it's not the Bears' fault. It's just the government's fault. It's also this horse crap organization as well.
Right. Well, the problem for that too is that the Bears don't own the stadium. So when other things come in, the Bears don't get that revenue. Like that's another big driving force in all of this, is that when you go to and build your own stadium, and now all of a sudden you're having all of these things. Now all of a sudden the ownership of the Bears is making money to put back into the team and into the stadium and into the fans and into everything else. It just keeps the cost of everything down. And I don't think
printing money.
Yeah, Bears fans don't understand like the financial impact of everything that this does for this organization. The Bears, from during the season, sure, they make billions of dollars during the Bears season, but outside of the Bears season, they like all of these concerts going on during the summer, all of these soccer games going. Yeah, the Team USA, I believe, was there yesterday playing an international friendly before the World Cup starts this week.
You got Team USA in the World Cup?
I don't know any other team that's in the World Cup. So
you're not going to bet on the World Cup? Promise?
I will not bet. I don't know soccer.
I don't believe you for a second.
I don't know soccer. You know what? I probably will play because the host of BetMGM tonight is a huge soccer guy, so he will tell me, hey, this is a good play right here. And
it's only the most popular sport in the world. It's not the WNBA. Anyway, go on.
But I would bet the because it's so easy. All you have to do to bet the WNBA is bet the under, and and bet that Angel Reese misses her first shot. That's a play right there. $1,000 every time Angel Reese misses her first shot. It's uncanny. But anyway, look, I just think that Bears fans don't understand yet, and I think that they will. The fans of this team, it's a smart fan base. I think eventually they understand, hey, this is going to be good. And once the stadium's built, once they're in that stadium, they're going to keep going back. And they're going to keep going back. And they're still going to be fans of the Chicago Bears, the same way fans of the Niners, the Giants, the Patriots who moved out of Boston and are now in Foxborough. Like there's so many other teams. Like, and by the way, Santa Clara for the 49ers is a 45-minute longer drive to Santa Clara from San Francisco than it is from Hammond to Chicago. So it's that fan base still stuck around. Bears fans will still stick around, and those that don't, they're not the ones that you cared about anyway. They're just not. And this to me is it would be a great move. It's the fitting move, and that's where they belong. And to bring this full circle, Caleb Williams is going to pass for 4,400 yards, 30 touchdowns.
Ah, here we go.
And he's going to break the Meta curse, and the Bears are going to the Super Bowl.
Here we go. Who knew you'd be begging for Lightfoot back? I'm not begging really for Lightfoot back, although Brandon Johnson's pretty bad. Yeah. She was incompetent, but at least you had the comedy of her being a character.
I think if you pulled Brandon Johnson's face off, you would get Lori Lightfoot. Like the whole Scooby-Doo commercial or cartoon, like when you pull off the mask, it's just Lori Lightfoot in a mask. That's what I think Brandon Johnson is.
And by the way, everybody's saying, I didn't even bring this in yet. This is a tweet by Courtney Cronin. She's with ESPN 1000. We can't play the interview really with her, but we can put up her tweet.
Yes.
When being told the Bears announcement on Hammond is real, she's being told it's real, not a leverage play. A league source told me that the Bears leaving the state is not a done deal. Per source, Indiana's in the lead now. Illinois can still get back in the race. Granted, the state has a lot of ground to make up, taxes, all that, but that's also true. And I blew up John's picture, by the way.
There was an There's no way you can't get me to believe that that's like John Wayne Gacy or something. So there was another tweet. I think Chris Emma put it out, or it was somebody else put out another tweet. It was like the Cronin tweet where it was like, this isn't a done deal per se, but barring an exponential change, Indiana is the move. So Illinois is still in the race, but they're going to have to make a move that you're going to have to look at. They're going to have to sell the Bears that this is a better spot to stay in than Indiana. And I just don't. I mean, look, we've questioned the intelligence of the McCaskies before, especially George. And I love George McCaskey. I think that he has done. I think he does some good stuff. I just don't think he's a good football guy. I don't think that there's a way that Illinois can fix this relationship. I just don't. And I think that once Kevin Warren sits down with George and says, hey, look, this is what we're looking at. This is what Illinois is offering. It's the best deal that they've offered. But we're still going to make much more money. And the value of our franchise is going to be so much more if we're not in a state where, one, our players are charged a jock tax. That's the other thing that you have to think about with Indiana is there's no jock tax like there is in Illinois. So getting free agents to come sign in for the Bears when their stadium and they play and their work and everything else is taxed by the state of Indiana as opposed to the state of Illinois is a huge thing for the Chicago Bears, which we haven't even touched on yet. But two, the value of our franchise is that much higher because of the value in what it plays in Indiana. And the business side of this thing is so much better for us to move to Indiana. Fans, you're gonna hear half of the fan base kill you right up until the first game that we play in Indiana, and then it's all going to go away.
Especially if the team's a winning team.
Especially if the team's a winning
in 5 years.
Yes.
In 5 or 6 years.
If they win a Super Bowl within these 5 years, nobody's going to care that they're moving to Indiana.
I don't think either of our hearts will make it that far. I think we'll probably have one of us will have a cardiac event. One of us will have a cardiac event by then.
It'll be the as soon as Caleb throws for 4,001 yards, he's gonna drop dead of a heart attack. All right, are you ready?
Yes, I am ready. It's gibberish, ladies and gentlemen. It's a diatribe. It's a conspiracy theory, and it's an island in the middle of unapologetic and sometimes inaccurate sports talk. I think we've been a little inaccurate today, maybe, with some of our numbers, throwing around a lot of things. A lot of political stuff we don't know a whole lot about. But something I do know a whole lot about is a long time ago. In September 2002, a young, virile, and libido-ridden boy man named Ryan strolled around the Eastern Illinois University campus in Charleston, Illinois, during a local fair. He was 21. It was still summer. There was optimism in the air and a strong smell of herbal essence shampoo coming from the fair, Sax, which made his pants. Remember herbal essence? What happened to that? Anyway, which made his pants feel tighter every time he caught a whiff. Also, that means he had a hard on. Also, there was a line of tables of activities and local businesses to sample at this fair. One such local business was Bank of America. Only Bank of America was not really a local business. They were owned by Vanguard, Berkshire Hathaway, BlackRock, some of the largest companies in the world. Some of them are obviously linked to China. That was far away from where I was then. And so was the concept of debt. Yes, when Bank of America so graciously gave me a $7,000 credit line, I had really never been in debt before. But I was about to be as I ran up to that credit line faster than you could say Frodo Baggins. How much of that money was spent on cable TV bills, dinners for dates, shots of Jameson, and cigarettes is anyone's guess. Mine is about 90%. If you haven't guessed it, and I already said it, I was that 21-year-old. I couldn't stop thinking about my foray into credit card debt when I heard the ticket prices for the New York Knickerbockers NBA Finals games coming this coming Monday. So let's go through those prices. The cheapest price, your get-in price, is $7,000. Yes, my credit line for my first credit card. To $10,000. So those are the nosebleed seats, $7,000 to $10,000. The lower bowl seats, $10,000 to $30,000 per seat in Madison Square Garden. Courtside seats, $100,000 to $151,000. I'm guessing those are going to be even more. That's bad. If you think about it, I don't know who can afford these games, but it is the NBA Finals in New York. It hasn't been there in forever, since 1999. But a regular game for the Knicks is $300 in the nosebleeds. For a game when the Lakers come, or a premium game, that swells to $1,000 for one nosebleed ticket. And let's say you want to watch it on TV. Well, I took the Chicago market here. The average price per year to watch TV for your sports teams, let's just say it's the big four sports. I took the Cubs, White Sox, Bears, Bulls, and Hawks, is conservatively $1,000 to watch all your sports teams on TV a year. When just 10 years ago, it was basically nothing. It was all wrapped up in your cable package. As I watch some of these games, I often wonder, who the hell can afford this? Then I think of that post-pubescent 21-year-old with rock hard abs strolling on the EIU quad with more than just shampoo on the brain. Credit cards are how America is paying for its sports these days, by going into crippling debt. And if you don't believe me, listen to these historic credit card debt numbers. The average balance for Americans' credit cards is $6,800, an all-time high, according to Yahoo Finance, with over 30% of Americans having $11,000 in credit card debt. The average annual percentage rate, and I know I'm getting technical here, is 20%. That means you're paying $2,200 just to borrow the $11,000 a year. That's not counting late fees. You could possibly be spending $3,000. Yes, Americans are collectively in $1.28 trillion with a T dollars in credit card debt, and they want us to spend more on a New York team. I have sat in the largest Midwest city most of my life and heard nothing but with the national sports broadcasters, but about New York teams. How about this for a message for you, New York? Fuck off. The numbers aren't numbering. The math is not mathing. Inflation keeps on inflating, and debtors won't stop calling. Maybe for once, look up instead of down when you're looking for someone to screw over with your overpriced garbage. And I am talking about the entire sports industry here. I hear a lot of people who talk about the AI bubble, and don't tell me you don't know about it, crashing the economy. Prices just keep on skyrocketing as wages drop and Americans cannot afford it anymore. Something's got to give. At some point, we have to stop buying tickets. But for those of you who just have to go to the game, for those of you who are like that 21-year-old with a head full of dry dreams and a crotch full of wet dreams, go to that Knicks game. If you have the credit line, charge the ticket and don't pay the credit card bill. If we stop, what can they really do? And that's Fitz gibberish. Combs.
Oh, look, a couple things. One, why the hell were you using Herbal Essence shampoo?
I wasn't. I was smelling the fairer sex. I was smelling the ladies.
So okay. So that's you should have just went with because it was the only thing I could afford, as opposed to I was just sniffing women's hair.
Well, you could smell it in the breeze, in the summer breeze.
I mean, I think that's a you thing. And look, for full transparency,
you remember the Herbal Essence commercials?
For full transparency, every time that we go to Fitz gibberish, I put Fitzy in full screen mode. And there's two reasons for this. One, it's because it's his platform, it's his segment, it's his thing. The second one, because I can disassociate myself with everything that he says during the Fitz gibberish. Because I am not on the screen when this happens. I do not know what is going to come out of it.
I told you years ago we should have got a disclaimer. You did not want to get one.
When he does these, when he does the Fitz gibberish, he does not tell me what it is. He tells it. I ask him, "Hey, what is it about?" So we know a good time to go to it. Like, when does it fit within the show?
What do I always say? I always say, well, it's kind of about nothing.
Yeah, it's kind of about nothing, but it's on this. And so I have an idea. Like he said today, it's on the NBA Finals. That had nothing to do with the NBA Finals.
It did have something to do with the NBA Finals.
So I was like, okay, we'll do that as a good transition before we talk NBA Finals. And now, we lead in with Herbal Essence and
Herbal Essence. This is Herbal Essence, by the way.
We're great together. But I found something new and more exciting. And it satisfies me in a way I never thought possible.
Introducing Herbal Essence's Fruit Fusions with an exhilarating new fruit fragrance and an exotic blend of organic fruit extracts for hair that's natural.
You're telling me you're not getting into Herbal Essence as a 21-year-old post-pubescent with rock hard abs in the spring of life, out there living it.
First of all, here's the first thing. I don't believe you ever had rock hard abs. That's the first lie. I mean, look, the commercials back then were
podcast with my family anymore.
Yeah, look, the commercials back then were out of your mind. As my wife, who is watching the show, has decided that to bring down the fact that she uses Herbal Essence shampoo.
Yes.
This is
you don't want to talk about Fitz. This has nothing to do with basketball.
Herbal Essence conditioner too.
Color me happy. Color me happy. They're still using the same, marketing technique.
Yeah. I definitely use conditioner for my hair. That's definitely what I use conditioner for in the shower. So keep
Fitz away from my wife. Attending professional sports game is now a venture for wealthy and corporate meetings and greets, meet and greets. The common man can't afford a game anymore. I agree with that, and it's just getting worse. And you cannot look at this New York series or just this basketball series. This is not it. I mean, the only game that people can actually go with their families anymore, it's just because there's 81 home games a year is a baseball game, and people can barely do that. I'm just saying prices are getting to a point where there's a breaking point here. There is.
Look, there is a breaking point, and you know,
we just talked about a Bears stadium. I mean, how much are Bears tickets going to be, folks?
Yeah, it depends. Again, I think that if they go to Indiana, they could be around the same price. They really could. I think they'll go up a little bit, but I don't think they'd go up as much as they would if they went to Arlington Heights. I look at as now I can smell this damn herbal essence shampoo.
Well, they don't have an herbal essence for men because they just call it Jergens.
Unbelievable.
Only a woman would have an orgasm with their hair.
Come
on.
It's crazy. But I think that the cost of tickets to go to anything, especially something like, I mean, what were the cost of tickets to go to Wrigley for the World Series in 2016? I mean, when you get these once in a, it's been a whole. It's been a whole.
Gone up since then. We've talked about it before. You talked about it. You brought up the ticket prices going way up.
It's been a whole generation of Knicks fans since they last went to an NBA Finals, and this is a rabid fan base. You know what I mean? Like this is something that is different for them. It's something that's new for them, and look, they're excited. They're up 2-0 right now, so I wouldn't be shocked if those tickets doubled in price after going up 2-0, right? Especially for Game 4 because you have the opportunity to sweep. I agree with you. I mean, tickets are insane to anything, and the one thing that I haven't been able to do yet is go to a Cubs playoff game. Like I've been to I went to game 5 of the ALCS when it was Red Sox versus Yankees at Fenway Park in was it 2018, 2017, 2018, somewhere around there. That, I mean, the atmosphere is insane, but you look at the cost of tickets everywhere now. I mean, just to go to a regular season Cubs game, it's going to cost me close to $500 before I step in the stadium, between the cost of 4 tickets, the cost of parking, the cost of driving down there with gas at $95 a gallon now. Like it's going to cost you that much just to get into the stadium, and then that doesn't even count for what you're going to buy at the stadium. Whether you want a beer that's $14 now, or you want a hot dog that's $9 now. Like the prices of everything are insane. But a lot of that goes back to our talk about the amount of money that owners make, and the amount of money that owners like to pocket, and it's not. The owners have a bottom line, and the more that player salary rises, the more it's going to cost you to do things around that ballpark, because the owners still have a bottom line of numbers they got to make. Just because all of a sudden Shohei Ohtani's making $700 million doesn't mean that the Dodgers are going to pay that out of pocket. You're paying the $700 million, not the Dodgers. You're going to pay that with your cost of your ticket, the cost of your parking, the cost of hot dogs, the cost of beer, the cost of everything that goes around in that stadium, the cost of jersey sales. Everything changes. What do we got to do to support? Oh, guess what? We're going to come up with this great marketing idea of every year we're going to have a new City Connect jersey. You know what I mean? So there's always new jerseys that come out. People got to buy them. People have to have them. It's all coming from you. And that's kind of how it goes, which is why, to me, especially in Major League Baseball, the salary cap works. Now, look, baseball or basketball already has that salary cap. This is just a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for Knicks fans where their team didn't choke in the playoffs and they got to the NBA Finals again for the first time in 27 years.
But already a ticket is insane. It's $1,000 some games just to get in the door. Season ticket plans are out of this world. They're going to price people out so they can sell more suites. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be, is it all going to, is on entire, are we going to have a stadium one day that's just all corporate suites? Like, I just don't know where this thing goes. At some point, there's a breaking point here. I don't know.
To spin it to the other way around, had the Knicks gotten blown out in games 1 and 2, and they looked like they weren't going to be competitive in this series, I believe that the cost of tickets would have come down. I still think it would be astronomical, but the price of tickets would have gone down because it would have been looked at as, oh, this team doesn't have a chance in this series. They're down 2-0. They've gotten, but instead, you get the game 1 where they come back and they win handily. You get the game 2 where I mean, you look at
Wemby couldn't make the late shot.
It's just Wemby looked so hesitant. That was the problem all night. Was everything he did was hesitant, and he's got to be that superstar. You have to know that when the ball is in your hand at 7'4", you are the guy. So that's your shot. You can come down with the ball and go back up to the hoop. It's okay. Like, it doesn't have to be an alley-oop. Like, you can come down with the ball, plant, go back up, and try to draw some contact. And I think that they will. I honestly believe that this could be a series where we go into game 5, it's tied 2-2, and not one home team has won a game. Because I do think that the Spurs are still good. I still think that the Spurs are still the better team in this series all around, and the Spurs are the younger team in this series. Now, the Knicks look like a veteran team that isn't overwhelmed by the moment, and in the first 2 games, especially the play that cost the Spurs with 7 seconds left the other night, where Wemby goes to pass the ball and Stephon Castle's not even looking, that stuff will change. That stuff won't happen again. This team is not as bad as they've looked through games 1 and 2. And when you go to New York and you go to Madison Square Garden, what happens? Superstars step up. Superstars in Madison Square Garden, especially for the other team, have career games because it's Madison Square Garden, because it's the mecca of basketball, because that's where guys go, and you've got all the stars and all the actors and everybody else out there. I wouldn't be surprised if the series goes game 5 tied 2-2. I also wouldn't be surprised if the Knicks sweep at this point. Because it's one of those series that's been unpredictable. You've got 2 really good basketball teams. I think the Spurs are here to stick around for the next 5+ years under Wemby and with the youth that they have. And I think the Knicks are pretty damn good right now. And I think that they have a chance to win a title. And as long as they don't go into New York and crap their pants, then it's something that might happen sooner rather than later.
If Greg Popovich doesn't have a health issue and has to go up to the upper management within the Spurs, he's coaching this team. Is it 2-0 series?
Because it's still a young team. I think that they still make the mistakes. The mistakes that are being made isn't because Mitch Johnson isn't doing a good job as a coach. Mm-hmm. The mistakes that are being made is because they have a young team. You've got a team, that honestly in game 1 they didn't look like they were taking the Knicks seriously. They went up quick. They went up by like 14 in the first half, and it looked like they were just going to dog walk the Knicks in game 1. It looked like the rest versus rust thing was going to be an argument, all this other stuff, because the Knicks had a 9-day layoff, and then the Knicks just came back and took control of it. And then in game 2, they have another big lead, and then they lose it, and then they're down big, and then they come back. And it seems like to me when I'm watching this series that the Spurs can score when they want to score. The Spurs can do whatever they want to do. They just have to take that bull by the horn and just do it all game long. They've got to play a complete game. They've got to play a full, 60-minute game or 48-minute game, whatever it is in the NBA with 12-minute quarters, right? So 48-minute game. You got to play a full game to go out there and just manhandle the Knicks like you can. And I see that, Jeremiah saying Cat's taking Wemby to the tool shed. I disagree, because when Cat is guarded by Wemby throughout this series, Cat's numbers are actually down. So I don't think he's taking him to the tool shed. I think what's going on is Wemby is 22 years old, and he's showing that he's 22 years old. I still think he's the face of the NBA. I still think he's the best player in the NBA. I think he's the best player in this series. But you look at what this team is, it's just a really, really young team. This is the second youngest team to ever play in an NBA Finals.
Yeah, and his wingspan is just unbelievable, and how tall he is. He does get moved around though. He doesn't have the bulk yet, and it doesn't look like he has the body type to have like I'm not even asking a Shaq bulk, but he's not going to bulk up. It doesn't seem like a lot, but
No,
I
but
think
he's still
that's going to be his
7'4".
problem. I think that's what they're doing. Yeah, I know he's 7'4"
Yeah.
and he can shoot threes too.
With the range of Steph Curry.
Yeah,
I mean, he can step back, he can cross you up, and he can guard you like he's Shaq. Like it's incredible what this kid can do.
Doubting Thomas has the Spurs cooked though.
It's Shohei Ohtani of that's Jeremiah Murray, not Doubting Thomas.
Yeah, I know, but Doubting Thomas did say they're cooked.
Oh, but you're watching what you're watching with Wemby. It's almost like you're watching the NBA version of Shohei Ohtani. Somebody who could do it on both ends of the court at a level that nobody else can do it right now.
He lacks the physique of a 21-year-old Fitz.
That's fair.
He's not hard enough.
Are you
needs to be harder?
Are you talking about the Fitz in your photo or the Fitz that's on this show? Because the 21-year-old Fitz on your show looks like he didn't guard anything other than a Wendy's drive-thru.
Wait, what? He's gonna kill us.
He put on clown makeup after that and went and committed a string of murders, didn't he?
Oh, he's here. He's gonna. It's not me, John. It's your brother-in-law.
You're not the one who blew up that photo?
It got blown up. The AI, dude, is everywhere. It's a bubble, though. It's gonna pop soon. It's AI.
The funny thing
I
is,
can't control it.
The funny thing is that he still looks like that. He just grew a beard, so it doesn't look as bad.
Madison Square Garden, 15 straight. I think Combs just said he's in love with you, John. He loves your beard, at least. Madison 15 straight playoff wins. I did not know that. Spurs are done. Knickerbocker sweep. Wow. I don't know.
Orlando, Shaq, or Wemby? I take Wemby. Because Orlando Shaq was easy to defend because they realized that you could hack a Shaq.
They didn't back then, though.
The same thing that you were doing with Mitch Robinson in this series. You can't do that with Wemby because Wemby can shoot. Wemby can shoot the lights out.
Yeah, I understand, but I just don't think Wemby. And you could yell at me for this. I don't think he's as dominant as Shaq was. You couldn't do anything with that guy. I mean, we're talking about
you couldn't do anything down low, but Orlando Shaq couldn't play in today's game the way it's spread out.
And no, see that. Well, yeah, that's the whole discussion, though. It's a different game.
Yeah,
the scoring is crazy now. I mean, Orlando, he was beaten up down there daily. I mean, he's got a look at how he walks around. His back is completely crushed from people just laying all over him. He could not do that to him now.
That's why questions of that magnitude, like would you take this or this guy or this guy? What era's rules are we playing in? Are we playing where there's no hand checking? Are we playing like it is now, where there's no hand checking and there's no real defense? That there's no advantage for the defensive player, or are we playing where we get the ball in down low like we did in the late '90s, early 2000s? In the 80s, where you get the ball in low to your
you gotta play in your era. I mean, who knows what Shaq would have done if he wasn't playing in his era. Shaq may have been the most dominant.
Shaq would have been a bench player in this era.
If you say, who knows? How do you know that? Because how does he develop?
Because he couldn't shoot. Like that was. I mean, you know what I mean.
I still think he's a player, man. I mean, I still think just from his talent alone, the way he could move in that size that he had, he may have been the most dominant player in NBA's history, which for me makes him one of the most dominant players. One of the most dominant players in sports history, because there's only 5 players playing on a court at a time.
Wasn't he the size of what like Jokic is now? But Jokic can shoot threes. You know what I mean?
He can't move like Shaq. He can't move like Shaq did.
Shaq.
Oh my God, he cannot. I mean, Shaq's athletic ability for the size he was. There's never been a player like that with that size and that athletic ability. I don't know if Will Chamberlain rolls Shaq either. I don't know. It's a hard conversation to have because they're playing in totally different eras at this point.
Yeah.
John says, yeah, minus Bill Russell, Will Chamberlain's the most dominant player. He'd roll Shaq.
Top. Bill Russell. Come on.
What about Akeem Olajuwon?
Anyway. Have you watched, how much of the Stanley Cup final have you caught?
Enough, a little bit. 2 warm weather teams again, man.
Yeah, but
I don't know who's okay.
It's also been one of the most exciting series that we've seen in a long time. I mean, you had the Knights who were down 3-0 in game 1, came back to win game 1. You had Carolina who was down, I think 3-0 in game 2.
3-0, yeah, 3 goals.
And then Carolina down last night, down 4-0 in the third period. And they come back, they tie it, they send it to overtime, and then a freak bounce that just goes in the net for Vegas allows Vegas to pull off that victory. I mean, it's been the most fun Stanley Cup final that I can remember in a long time. I mean, this Stanley Cup final, the NHL has to be excited with what is going on in the first 3 games, because even if you're just a casual fan of the NHL, this series has you captivated. Because you know that it could be 3-0 going into the third period, or hell, 4-0 now going into the third period, and the game's not over. Because both of these teams are so offensively gifted. I mean, I thought Colorado was going to walk to the cup, and then Vegas swept them.
Yeah,
in the Western Conference Finals. So
you did.
Yeah, it's you don't know what to expect. You got 2 teams who are so offensively gifted. You got Carolina, who was a heavy favorite coming into the series. They are now down 2-1. And Vegas is on home ice for game 4. So it's captivating. It's fun to watch. You got game 3 or game 4 of that, I think, is on Tuesday. You got game 3 of the NBA final is on Monday. This week is going to be crazy. The fact that the NBA finals, let's finish off with the NBA finals. How did they not have a game? Why did they skip the weekend? Why was it game 3 tonight?
On a Sunday night in New York. I know there's a deal with the players where they put into every series another 3 or 4 days off. That happened 10 years ago. Yeah, because sometimes with these series, they have to go from one side of the country to the other. So that was part of it and all that. And we still have people arguing in the chat. Shaq's footwork was phenomenal. Bill Russell won 11 championships. John says Bill Russell won 11 championships. Don't roll your eyes, geek. I'm guessing he's talking about us.
He's probably talking about me. Bill Russell won 11 championships, but if Bill Russell's on any other team, he doesn't win those championships. The Celtics won those championships.
Yeah, and Doubting Thomas says Wilt Chamberlain was dunking on cab drivers and plumbers. And Megan says French Open final is so much more entertaining than your podcast. An international sport that has millions of viewers and collects billions of dollars a year is more interesting than our podcast. Did you know that?
I mean,
that's
it's
interesting.
Shocking.
It's shocking.
Especially considering all of the upsets that have gone on during the French Open, which has been absolutely phenomenal. It's been great tennis. I'm a tennis guy, so
what is happening here?
If my podcast is mentioned in the same sentence as the French Open, I'm okay with that. So thank you, Megan. I appreciate that.
Okay, there we go. I love the rebuttal there. The volley.
The volley.
Can I say that?
Yeah, the back and forth.
It's 40 love. Take that, Megan TV.
Yeah. 40 love. Look at you with the tennis reference.
Yeah, baby. My mom was a huge tennis fan. Rest in peace, mama. Okay, do we want to read this? It's a little long comment. Jesus, I can't believe he typed this much. He's got this from ChatGPT. Interviewer asked Wilt Chamberlain in an interview in 97 how many points he would average if he played now. He said 50 to 60 points. The guy said, why not more? He said, I'm 60 years old. Old joke. He said I'm 60 years old. Dude, how many women did Will Chamberlain have sex with? It's thousands, right?
It's a lot.
A few of them had to be shampooing with her.
He makes me look like a
That's all
virgin.
I'm saying.
That's what he does. Look, I love the French Open, but I love the way the NBA final and the Stanley Cup final have both been just so much fun to watch and so captivating. So it's going to be fun this week to see what happens, especially to see if San Antonio can crawl back into the series. They have to win games. If they don't win tomorrow night, it's over. But I do think that there's a world where we could see them win games 3 and 4 in New York, and the home or the road team wins every series. I mean, we see it quite a bit throughout sports where stuff like that happens. So it wouldn't be shocking to me if that happened. It wouldn't be shocking to me if the Knicks end this in 4 and they sweep and they win it at the Garden, which I think would be special for all Knicks fans, even as annoying as they are. Let's talk some baseball here. We've got the Cubs and the White Sox. The White Sox still playing really good ball. I mean, the way that they went into Philly's been playing some fantastic ball since they fired their manager, and early in the season they've completely turned their season around.
Yeah, they're
and
one of the teams. There's been a couple of them, Seattle Mariners too, but go on.
Yeah, no, the White Sox go in and they win a game yesterday in Philly. They have a chance to win the series today in Philly, which we thought that heading into the schedule in June, that this was going to be the real test for the Chicago White Sox, and it would be off to a great start if they win 2 out of 3 in Philadelphia. I don't think that this White Sox team's going away anytime soon. I don't. I think that they're playing too good a ball. You're doing this still without Munetaka Murakami. You're doing all of this.
And Kyle Teal.
Yeah, and Kyle Teal, and you're going to get those guys back at some point, and you're watching what is going on the South Side. I think that this White Sox team is going to be around for a while. Are you as sold on them as I am right now?
Well, I just think you're going to have a problem. I mean, they cannot be the third. They're not going to be third in home run total this year. They are third right now. They're behind.
Why not?
The Braves and the Yankees. Here's my okay. I'll give you a couple names: Travis Peters, Derek Hill. What is it? Niku. These guys are playing every day in their lineup. I don't think Randall Grichich is going to hit 30 home runs this year. Antonacci has been very good, but that's another guy that's not going to hit home runs in your lineup. And I know that people are going to say it's not all about home runs. It isn't. And I'm very much on that side of things, but you have to have slug in this league if you want to keep up. I just think their slugging numbers are going to come down. Runs are going to be hard to come by. I also think you're already seeing cracks in the starting rotation. You already are seeing them. I know Doubting Thomas is going to go, yeah, but what about Maddox? You said he was like Maddox. Davis Martin was, I never once said that he was going to be the ace, the perennial ace of any staff. He's not going to be. He could be a second or third, a very good second or third, but I don't think he's the ace of any staff that I would want. I just don't think he has the overpowering stuff. I just think he's got to be sly and throw curveballs. And you saw it with David Sandlin the other day. He had one good start, one bad start. He's a guy that just came up from AAA. I don't think they're bringing up AAA guys enough, and that really shows me a team that is not ready to win now. That's not going to make a lot of trades at the deadline either, because they don't know exactly who they have in AAA or the guys that they have. They haven't fully evaluated all their talent throughout the organization yet. They're kind of telling you that by slowly bringing guys up. Now they had to bring up Jacob Gonzalez up, who hit a towering home run yesterday. A towering home run in the upper deck in Philly. If you look at the swing, it looked effortless. So it looks like he's going to be talented, but I just don't see the home runs and the innings. I just don't see both of those things coming together. And I think there's cracks in that. Yes, you could try good and you can win games. And there's a lot of things that are happening that are really good with the White Sox right now. And just the management of this team, I'm blown away by it for where we were 2 or 3 years ago and what we were saying about this team. I mean, I'm screaming and yelling and freaking out about this team 2, 3 years ago. They had 11 MLB debuts this season. Yes. No, Jacob Gonzalez is not on this team if Murakami doesn't get hurt. And those are, when we're talking about power hitters, elite talent, those are the guys. Travis Peters is one of the guys that bring up. Travis Peters, great story. He could be a great utility guy. He should not be starting every day in center field. He should not be your starting center fielder for a playoff team in the MLB.
I can tell you this, after Aaron Judge's injury, where he's going to be out for at least 2 months, so he's out of the MVP race, and he was the heavy favorite. I played 3 guys the other day to win MVP. And I played Ben Rice of the New York Yankees because I think if the Yankees are going to compete, he's going to have to carry that lineup. I played Nick Kurtz of the A's because if they even sniff the playoffs, and he's one of my favorite players to watch in baseball. So damn good. He is 10-1. But then I played Colson Montgomery at 150-1 to win MVP because if this
16.
White Sox team goes to the playoffs, it's going to be because Colson Montgomery it was unbelievable. Because if he gets cold and this team starts going south, it's not going to be good for the White. He is that damn good. I think he can be an MVP candidate. He's going to have to get his average up a little bit higher than what it is now, but at 150-1 for a guy like this, I mean,
yeah, he has 37 home runs in 133 MLB games.
Yeah,
37 home runs. And, I mean, he's been a really good defensive shortstop too. Still hate Chris Gatsby. I don't know how. I mean, it's hard not to. I'll say it again. The guy has built a baseball community here. It's hard not to say this. They had Josh Barfield on the other day. One of the guys that were the architects of the Diamondbacks team that is still playing well right now. He was the head of player development there. He's the assistant GM now of the White Sox. Chris Getz being the GM of the White Sox. I think he has a lot to do with it, but Chris Getz brought him here.
Yeah.
Chris Getz brought, I mean, the names go on. I'm the names escaping me, but there's other guys in the front office that Chris Getz brought here that have been great. Will Venable. I mean, come on. How could you say Will Venable hasn't been a great manager the way some of these guys are playing for him? I mean, it's really something up and down the lineup, what this White Sox team has been able to do. I mean, all these guys seem to be playing together. Yeah. And I understand that. And Jeremiah
Hagen Smith still coming. Braden Montgomery is still coming. Tanner McDougal is still coming. Jeremiah Murray saying all these names is still coming. There's all sorts of guys in the system that are still coming up. And then he says that Miguel Vargas has been better than Colson. I'd argue with you that they've been the same player. They've both been equally as important. They've both been equally as good. I know numbers wise, they're relatively close.
Yeah.
Numbers wise. I think they've been the same player, and I think that they've both been really, really good. I think Miguel Vargas is, I've said it again, and I'll keep saying it. He's the guy that the Dodgers thought that they had, but gave up on.
Yeah. For Lance Lynn.
And that's what he's been. Yeah. And that's what he's been. Well, didn't they get Kopech in that deal? Too?
It's possible. Yeah, it's possible. I thought those were 2 separate trades. I'll look at. We'll have the production team.
Get on it.
Production
along
team.
with the new intro.
Kevin Bannister. You're right, Jeremiah. That would be on the pitching side. Which the pitching side is every time they bring on another pitcher, their bullpen.
Yeah,
looks really good. Yeah, Fetty might not make. He had a good outing last time.
Yeah,
but I don't know about what's going to happen with Fetty moving forward. But
once you bring up some of those other guys, you're going to be able to go away from Fetty, which is fine. But I just think, look, we say all the time that you say it, they're not going to finish third in home runs. They might. We see this all the time in baseball where things happen we don't see coming. I mean, we saw it last year with the Brewers. Did we see the Brewers last year having the best record in Major League Baseball
No.
and winning
No, we
games
did
in the
not.
way? So why can't the White Sox do this? Are
And
you
that-
just saying this because you're a White Sox fan and you're
And that
so
contact
torn?
hitting would be so important last year too. And it's
Yeah.
really kind of spinning the way we look at baseball. And that might be where baseball is going, which we talked about a couple weeks ago about averages just keep going down. Well, maybe going back to contact hitting is where this league has to go. And Brewers, great contact hitting team. Toronto, who's starting to win games again, a great contact hitting team.
Scarlett Johansson. She's on the production staff.
No, that's his AI lady.
Oh,
That's how he does his profile pictures every year or every week.
that's fantastic.
Two
You can make
monikers.
Scarlett Johansson as your AI. God, am I gonna get divorced again?
Was she using herbal essence? God, I would love to see Scarlett Johansson in an herbal essence commercial.
Yeah, so I mean, for like from on the outside looking in at the White Sox, I think that this team can sustain this. I think that they are that good. If they can if they can sustain this month of June, and again, just be somewhere around 500, whether they're just above 500 or just below 500 in this month of June, I think that this White Sox team is going to be a playoff team. And not just because of I think that they're better than we think that they could be. Let's look at the American League as a whole. The American League as a whole is not going to run away from the White Sox. They're just not. I think they're still
in the playoffs now. They are in the playoffs now.
You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams that are above 500, and the White Sox are one of them.
Yeah, they're in the playoffs. Yeah, they're in the playoffs right now. As of right now, they're in the division race.
And they have a 3-game lead over the Rangers for the second wild card spot.
Yeah, I mean, they're in it now. Yeah, and right now they're in the playoffs. So I mean, if the season ended now, I don't know. With consistency, longevity.
Is this just you not wanting to think that you don't want to get your hopes up? Is that what this is?
My hopes are, I feel like this is already win. We're playing with house money right now. If you're a Sox fan, we are playing with house money. This is exciting as it gets. I think we might be at the peak, at the crest of this wave. I hope we're not. I hope we're not. I'm still a fan of the team, but I have to look at this logically for my many fans out there
what point
of the podcast.
At what point does that flip from this is already a win to, okay, if they don't make the playoffs,
July 1st,
this is lost.
July 1st.
So that flips. If they're still in a playoff position on July 1st,
still soon enough where I can still call myself a prognosticator and get away with it and still put my neck out there. I'm just not ready to do that with this team. I've been hurt before.
Yeah. So that's when it turns to no matter what, if they're still in a playoff spot in July 1st, and then they were to, let's say, somehow fall out of a playoff spot, which for the record, I don't think will happen. I think this White Sox team is going to the playoffs.
Wow.
If you
keep saying it.
So by July 1st, if they're still a playoff team and then they finish somehow outside of the playoffs, then it would no longer be a winning season for fans. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yeah, if that happens, yes, that's what
we will revisit on the first episode after July 1st, because I think that you're looking at a White Sox team that is good enough to sustain, that hits well enough to sustain, and that pitches well enough to sustain. And it's surprising. Nobody saw this coming. I didn't see this coming. You didn't see this. We thought they were going to be better. We thought 72, 73, 75 wins even.
I had 70 games. Yeah, but what's 72 or 73? Yeah, that's what I thought.
So you're in that ballpark, but now we're talking about a team that they are already at 34-30. So that's what, 64. So you got 98 games left. So if they went 50-48, they'd already be at 54 or at 84 wins. In those last 98, that's 2 games above 500 for the rest of the season. It's not it's not something that I think is going to go away. I think that they just have to sustain in June. They have to play somewhere around 500 ball in June.
I put a Cubs game on for the first time since this past week because they were losing by 2 touchdowns. We can go to the Cubs. Stretch Grant Taylor out. I don't know. They need him too much in the bullpen. I'm not stretching out Grant Taylor right now, who struck out the side pretty easily last night to get the save. Struck out Kyle Schwarber, I think, on 3 pitches. Not that that's hard to do. He strikes out a lot. But John says, things are looking up, Charlie. Couple of games go our way. We have a couple potential all-stars in there. We just need something to put it all together.
He's taking a really long shit this morning.
Yeah, major league line. Hate to say it, but I think John Fitz called it. Holy cow, Doubting Thomas throwing flowers today. Really wordy today, John. Let's shift to the Cubs. Can the White Sox sustain this? You don't want the Cubs to sustain what they're doing. I mean, they won yesterday, thank God.
The PCA game yesterday, where he ties the game in the 7th with a home run after the Cubs had a brilliant pitching performance from Ben Brown, and then they bring in a reliever in the 6th inning who promptly on the first pitch gives up a solo home run. And the Cubs were losing. PCA ties it in the 7th. They give up the lead in the top of they give up the tie in the top of the 9th. Again, Daniel Palencia gives up a run in the top of the 9th. PCA ties it again in the bottom of the 9th. Beautiful, like a big balls outing from Rollison in the top of the 10th. And then, you win the game in the bottom of the 10th. But look, the Cubs are in trouble. Cubs are in trouble. This roster is in trouble. Again, people are all over the place. Yurko or Carm, one of the two, put out a poll the other day. Should Craig Counsell be fired? And fans are like, oh yeah, he's got to be. Like, this is not a Craig Counsell problem. This is a Jed Hoyer problem. Craig Counsell did not construct this roster. Jed Hoyer did. Craig Counsell did not, decline to add depth to this rotation or to this roster. Jed Hoyer did. There are some things that Counsell's doing that make me want to drive a nail through my eyeballs. But at the same time, he's working with what he has. And this Cubs team is just it's bad. You look at Alex Bregman. I mean, guy, like I keep thinking that he's going to be a guy who can turn it around. But you see him again yesterday in the 8th inning with the bases loaded, striking out to end the inning. Like, that's a time where you need your $175 million guy to step up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you need that guy to be that guy in that situation. Now, I will give him this: 2 pitches before he struck out, he roped one down the line that just landed foul. And the Cubs have hit a couple of hard balls that have just found a way. Like yesterday, it was uncanny. They were hitting balls left and right at 99, 100 mile an hour plus that were just finding gloves. So sometimes you do have those games, but this has been a big thing, throughout. And so I just, the Cubs are that team that are going to be one of the bigger disappointments of the MLB season. And so I think that the Cubs are in trouble. I don't know that they're going to be buyers any longer unless Jed does something now. And Jed has to do something drastic. He has to shake up this roster. He has to shake up this lineup. And he has to do something to turn this season around. Otherwise, it's just going to be what it is now, a team that's struggling and a team that's trying to find their way but just doesn't have an identity.
No, and it's either one thing or the other. From outside looking in, it's just one thing after another, whether it's the starting pitching, the bullpen, or the lineup. I don't think the starting pitching's been too bad. But I mean, giving up 18 runs, ain't gonna help you, especially to a really bad San Francisco. Not a really bad, just kind of a bad team in San
Holy
Francisco.
hell.
Yeah, I know.
Stacey King,
I can't believe it. Yeah, while you were
59
talking.
years old. From what I'm looking at now, and thanks Jeremiah for putting that in the chat. David Kaplan tweeted out, absolutely devastated to hear Stacey King has passed away at the age of 59 after a fall at his home.
Oh,
He made watching the Bulls no matter good or bad. I mean,
one of the best broadcasters in the history of Chicago sports, and that's saying a lot.
Yeah, that is
One of the most fun broadcasters to listen to, smart too, was not just a joke of himself, one of those guys that, just, become their own personality. No, he was actually a really smart basketball guy too. Oh man. I did not know he was 59.
That's tough. And a fall at his home. I mean, obviously more stuff is going to come out about this, about what happened, how big of a fall, like what. But that's just, that's you watch Bulls games and you listen to Stacey. I mean, we've all heard it. We've all heard the crazy calls that he had. I mean, the funny calls that he had. I mean, we've played a couple on this show.
The call last one we played was when they beat the Lakers and that crazy giddy.
Yeah. And he's just like, I'm coming, Elizabeth. Like it. I mean, he just made the game so much fun to watch. I mean, that's heartbreaking news, man. 59 years old. That's brutal. And so yeah, that's a tough way. That's a tough we were tough transition to end the show.
Oh, we were talking about the Cubs, so
yeah, it's just, I mean,
and I don't even know where to go from that. Yeah, I mean, just I remember when I was one of his first games. It wasn't his very first game, but I remember listening to him and being like, well, he got the job like right away. Like he got the job. I think it was filling in for Redker when Johnny Redker was kind of going down. It was the guy who was the Bulls announcer for years. They had the ex-coach of the Bulls, the first coach of the Bulls. He was starting to lose it a little bit and get older, and then he obviously passed not long after he left the broadcast. Stacey King took over and was just terrific.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something. Yeah, I mean, just I and so many bad Bulls teams. Too bad he never really had a good team. I mean, there was that one team for about a half with DeMar DeRozan and Lonzo Ball, and before he got hurt, and then they had to give a cadaver's muscle or ligament in his leg and whatever the hell else happened there. And yeah, I mean, he had some tough teams to announce, but it was always interesting. He always brought something to the broadcast. That's something.
Yeah, it's tough.
And just to like close the loop on the Cubs, I mean, I don't see if they do not turn things around here. I don't see how Jed Hoyer still has a job, or Craig Counsell. But
yeah, I mean, I don't think that. I don't put this on Counsell. I put 95% of this on Jed in the construction of the roster. I mean, we've talked about that before, and I'll talk about it again. It's bad, and the Cubs are in a spot in their schedule where they should be able to go on a run, where they should be able to win 12 of their next 15. A good team would win 12 of their next 15. Hell, I think the White Sox would win 12 of their next 15 with the schedule. I don't trust that the Cubs are going to be better than 7-8 or 8-7. And that's just because of the way that this team is playing and the way that this team is. And I hope that I'm wrong. I hope they turn it around. I thought the win on Thursday night would have sparked it. That the way that they came back from down 6-1 in the 7th inning to win that game on Thursday night, I was like, all right, this is going to spark that team. And then they come out on Friday and they just get their dick kicked in. And they, like Downey Thomas said, they're down by 2 touchdowns. They lose that game 18-3. I mean, it was brutal. And then they win yesterday, and you got a chance to win a series today, but I don't know that this team is capable of doing what a lot of people thought, including myself, thought they were going to be capable of doing at the start of this season. And I remember when I was excited about the Edward Cabrera trade. That looks, I mean, I don't know what's going on with Edward Cabrera. He's not striking guys out at the clip that he was. He's giving up home runs. You got Shota Imanaga and Jamison Tyon who give up home run after home run after home run. Yeah, I mean, you had an outing where, you had Carson Kelly on Friday pitching in the 9th inning. Gave up less home runs than Edward Cabrera did. And he still gave up 2, but he gave up less home runs than Edward Cabrera did. It's not good. So it's
development.
I don't know that the Cubs
Jeremiah says it's development.
I agree.
Not too many guys who are.
You've got nothing coming up. You've got to the point where you're dealing with all of these injuries in the pitching rotation. We don't know if Justin Steele's coming back with all the setbacks he had. You've lost Cade Horton for the year. Edward Cabrera hasn't been good. Shota Imanaga hasn't been good. Jamison Tyon hasn't been good. And you've got nobody in AAA that can come up and take over the throne. You've got nothing. They've got one pitcher in their top 10 prospects. One pitcher. That's not good.
No.
And this isn't good development. And this is why I didn't understand last year why Jed got the extension. I didn't understand why Jed is being hailed as this guy. And then I got guys like David Kaplan, who we just read his tweet, but I got guys like David Kaplan coming at me on Twitter saying, oh, well, it's not Jed. This team won 92 games last year. Yeah, well, this team won 92 games last year. They should have went to a World Series if Jed had the balls to make a move at the deadline.
Yeah. Yeah. And they weren't far above 500 in the second half of that season.
No. They were abysmal. The first half carried them through the second half.
Yeah, and so now you're almost a full season, a little bit above 500.
Yeah,
like you were for those 2.5 seasons prior.
This team is not built to sustain injuries. It's built it's built the way Jed exactly. I mean, if you listen to him, exactly what he said he was going to build it as a team that needs to perform better than the back of the baseball card.
Which that's hard to do.
And you don't have those guys in your lineup. You don't have Alex Bregman is the only one coming in that you trusted to outperform the back of the baseball card. Dansby Swanson is an automatic out every time he's up in the order. You got Nico Horner who has been up and down. I think he can be consistent, but Nico Horner, and if Alex Bregman turns it around, which I trust that he is capable of doing, not power wise, but at least hitting wise and clutch wise, because he's done that through most of his career. You don't have a guy in that lineup that you can trust to hit consistently. PCA's been that guy over the last, 60 days or so. PCA has been the most consistent bat that they have. And if PCA is your best hitter in your lineup, you're not a good baseball team. And I love PCA, but if he's the best hitter in your lineup, you're not a good baseball team.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. It's just a tough situation. Because you do have a high payroll. I wouldn't say it's as high as I would have had it being the Cubs GM, but it's still a high payroll, and you're not really showing it on the field, especially during this, which I guess we're all hoping it's just a slump. It's just a team slump, but it's been going on for a little while now. And like I said, last season, the second half of the season, they're a little bit above 500. They're a little bit above 500 now. They were that for 2.5 years. Is that just what they are? And they just had a half a season that was pretty good. I mean, you have at third base Alex Bregman. Yes, you do have at third base Alex Bregman. But if you remember when Alex Bregman went to the Boston Red Sox, he was filling in for or not filling. Well, yeah. There was also Rafael Devers was out there, who was a third baseman at the time. I don't think he's playing third base right now. Rafael Devers, much different player than Alex Bregman. Unfortunately, I think Alex Bregman, I thought it was a great deal, but they did not get Rafael Devers. So it seems like in all these deals, they're getting the second and third, fourth guy down or no guy at all when it came to a right fielder.
Yeah.
Or
You don't
just
even
no
have
guy at
yourself
all.
a Luis Ariz, who they're playing against, again when with San Francisco right now. But you don't even have a guy like that who you can trust. Like when he was up last night, and then I mean he was the one hitter in the lineup that scares you in that situation because he's so good at making contact. I mean he's one of the few guys left in Major League Baseball that still hits for an average over 300.
Almost every year.
And so you don't have that guy in this lineup. This team is bad. I think Dansby Swanson might be worse than the Jason Hayward contract. The only thing that he gives you is his defense, but he's been I think his offense is carrying over to his defense because it's in his head, and even he's been making some mistakes with the glove lately. So look, you're turning it around is not foreseeable with this team. It's just not. And so I don't think that I think Cubs fans are in for a long season. I hate to say it. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they figure this thing out. I hope Jed makes a trade within the next couple of days. I hope that they go out and get some pitching help. I hope they go out and establish some depth. I hope that by the trade deadline they add a big bat. But even he said when he was talking to the press the other day that he's not even thinking about the trade deadline right now because we have to play better. I mean, that's I don't know how this guy got an extension. You're not thinking about making a trade right now with as bad as this team has been?
Yeah.
You have to help Jed because the guys that you put on this roster are not performing. This isn't you can say all you want. Oh, they've got to play better. Sure, they've got to play better, but you've got to put them in a position to succeed. And you're not doing that. You're just not. And Craig's getting thrown under the bus. And I'm not a huge fan of Craig Counsell and some of the decisions he makes. But this isn't on Craig, man. This is on Jed. 110%. I there's no way you can get me to believe that this is a manager's fault because he's doing what he can with the pieces that he has to work with. The things that I blame him for is, Alcantara and Pedro Ramirez, sure, maybe they should see the lineup a little bit more right now with all of the guys that are struggling. Put Dansby Swanson on the bench for a week and let Pedro Ramirez play second and move Nico over to short. Take Seiya out of the lineup for a little while. Let Kevin Alcantara man right field. Let him be in the lineup every day. See what these kids can do. Because what you're getting out of Seiya and what you're getting out of Dansby right now just isn't very good. It just isn't. So I don't know what's going to happen with the Cubs. I don't know what they have coming. I just don't think it's going to be good.
Oh boy!
And who would have thought that on June the 7th we'd be sitting here talking about how the White Sox are going to be a playoff team and the Cubs are done.
Yeah, I don't have the White Sox being a playoff team yet, but it looks like the Cubs arrow is. It's hard not to say that the Cubs arrow isn't pointing down. I just don't see the players that are, oh, this guy's coming. Oh, this guy's coming. And there's two guys are coming off injury. And yeah, the Cubs have a couple guys coming off injury, but I don't see how this thing really works out, especially in what has been a tougher division than we thought in the beginning of the season.
Especially when you look at the guys that are coming off injury, help's on its way from, the pitching side of things. Guys are getting healthy. It's Edward Cabrera and it's Matthew Boyd. That's your help. And then we saw what Edward Cabrera was on Friday. They lose that game.
Boyd, I don't know how you want to count on him to have another what is he, 36 now?
Just a career year.
Yeah, another career year.
An out of body.
You shouldn't have counted on that.
Yes,
you don't count on a guy who's 36 who had a couple bad years and then had a career year and he's gonna have another one. He's just gonna be good now.
Yeah, I just don't see it. I don't see it. White Sox and Phillies are on right now. That game just started. They're in the top of the first. And the Cubs play the Giants tonight on NBC. Second straight week they are on NBC Sunday Night Baseball. So,
be interesting.
We'll see. It'll be fun, man. But are you ready to get out of here?
Let's go.
Let's get out of here. Good day for the most part. We talked about the Bears. We talked about the NBA Finals. We talked about the Cubs, the White Sox, and the unfortunate news of losing an absolute legend in the business in Stacey King. It's just, I mean, just really unfortunate news there. So, thoughts and prayers out to the Stacey King family. Until next time,
Oh yeah.
tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your enemies. We'll see you guys next week.